You're listening to The Hit List with me, Numi, and I'm joined by Tom Walker. Hello.
Oh,
How are you?
good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. First of all, I didn't know that you grew up in Chelford.
Yeah.
I grew up in Prestbury.
Oh, no, it's down the road, right?
Yeah, and I had friends who lived in Chelford, so I used to go to Chelford quite a lot. And it's blown my mind that maybe one day our paths crossed and we had no idea.
No one's ever heard of it. Do you know what I mean?
People are like, do you mean Chelmsford?
Exactly, yeah. Chelmsford wishes it was Chelford.
But it's cute. It's a lovely little village.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much going on, but, we enjoyed it growing up. So, yeah. Good.
I think I can remember a very small park, the village hall, which I think I went to for a couple of parties, and one Christmas panto.
Yeah.
And a gas station, and that was it.
I think there's a butcher's and a farm riding supplies shop. Which,
I think I remember that shop. I think because I used to horse ride. I think I went in there for riding supplies once. So there you go.
Quality place.
And obviously, home of a star. So you're helping bump that Wikipedia page up. So let's dive into the music chat. First of all, it's great to have you back with new music. First release of the year. How does it feel having Burnout?
Yeah, super exciting. I've been working on music for a long time now, trying to get it into a place where, I'm really happy with it. And I love this song. I mean, it's so different from anything I've put out before. The production is such a leap from anything we've done before. And I don't know, I just feel like it really is like pushed the boundaries for me as like an artist and a vocalist and a writer. So yeah, I'm absolutely buzzing with it. And the reaction's been great so far, which is lovely. So yeah, happy days.
Yeah, I love it. I saw you mention this in an interview as well, and I really picked up on it when I heard the track for the first time. It's got like such a big like Imagine Dragons kind of sound to it, this kind of real passion in your voice, a little bit of anger, a little bit of edge. Where did that kind of new sound, new production come from? I've
been working with a group of writers called the McDonough Brothers, and they've produced it. And they're just absolutely amazing. I've not met producers with the work ethic that those bunch of lads have got. Like, we're in the studio like every day, like 11 o'clock to like 3 a.m. It's like nuts, and we ended up writing like the whole album in pretty much 2 weeks' time after writing.
Wow.
Mad. We just got on this real flow together, and it's just so exciting to be in with people who just like live and breathe and eat music 24/7, and they absolutely love it. They go after it. So yeah, it really kind of re-energized me as an artist, and the projects as well. They really helped me find like what I was looking for. Yeah,
I think it is so essential to get the team right. I think sometimes people don't quite realize that, because you hear the name and the song as a consumer, and you don't really know like that team behind, how crucial they can be in your creative process, kind of like creating that music together. And sometimes you work with teams and you're like, you're lovely, but we're just not meshing, or we're not making the sound that I want to make. So I think it's so important to have that team behind you.
Absolutely. And it's not like an easy thing to find, like, as I said, I've been working on this, the difficult second album for a while now. And I'd written a bunch of tracks that I really loved, but I was just finding it difficult to find like a new edge on the production. And they really, really helped kind of like roadmap the sound for this album, which is amazing. So yeah, super buzzing I got the chance to work with them.
So is it very much that Burn is kind of like a good introduction, a good abstract to the album? Is it like, this is the flavour that we're going to get from album number 2?
Like soundscape wise, like, yeah, but that is definitely at the heavier end of the album, like the beats are absolutely massive. So not everything's like, as like hard hitting as that is production wise, but there's some beautiful songs on there that people are going to be shocked and surprised by. And we've got some amazing musicians in, like some great choirs and like some string sections and the rest of it to kind of play with, which has been, such a joyous experience as an artist, getting, people who are at the top of their game to come in and do like a full choir production on your songs is so exciting. So yeah, I'm buzzing for people to hear that.
Yeah, because I feel like with Burn, it does feel like this really big kind of wall of sound. Like you really feel the weight of it. So I'm excited to hear that that's going to carry through on the rest of the album. What's your favourite song on the album?
It's a great question. Really good question. There's a song called Holy Ghost on there, which I absolutely love, because it's again kind of similar, not a similar vibe to Burn, but just so different from like anything that's come before it. And it's kind of got like a really lovely kind of spiritual, kind of Hosier-esque vibe.
Oh, yes.
A huge drop in the chorus and just like really exciting vocals that they managed to get out of me. It was like 3-hour vocal sessions with these.
It sounded like they worked you really hard. You have birthed this album.
Honestly, I was absolutely done by the end of it. Look, at the end of the week writing period that I had with them, I went off and got married and then had a month off. So it was a well-deserved month off.
Yeah. What were your like? So obviously we kind of talked a little bit about Imagine Dragons. You've just mentioned Hosier. Were you consciously like listening to certain artists, almost thinking of a mood board when you were coming into these writing sessions of what whilst you were kind of exploring this new sound, elements you wanted to draw from?
I mean, I tried so many different like genres and styles and productions, and I played with so many different things. So I wouldn't say there's like a specific list, but certainly like, you know, what ended up making this album was like Kaleo and Imagine Dragons and Hosier, and you know, I've been listening to a lot of Billie Eilish.
Nice.
So I'd say that, yeah, those artists definitely kind of inspired like the sound and stuff behind it.
KMFM.
This is the hit list.
KMFM.
You've said in the press for Burn, and we've just talked about it now, like this album now coming out from 2 weeks of writing, which is insane. But it's been a long process to this album. It sounds like it's been quite a frustrating process. How has that been, like writing songs and then not using them? And, you know, tell me about that journey that then gave you these emotions that you then put into Burn.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that like for your first album, you've got your whole life up until that album to write it. You know, like I started writing songs when I was like 13, and my first album came out when I was like, you know, 23, I think. So it's been difficult. First of all, there was a 2-year pandemic in the way.
Yeah, for sure.
You're not allowed to leave the house and have experiences. It's really difficult because the last thing I thought people were going to want to hear about was a song about the pandemic. So I just didn't even touch that with the 10-foot barge pole. But yeah, it took me a minute to get into the swing of things because obviously kind of in 2019 at the height of us touring the album, we had so much planned, festivals, touring, traveling, all that, and it kind of all got put to a halt. And I guess it was the first time in a long time that I'd had like, you know, a year of just not doing anything. And we'd been on this incredible train for like 5 years out touring and stuff. So it took me a little minute to bounce back to that and to figure out what I wanted to do for this second album. So it is frustrating because obviously you write song after song after song, and I was giving them to the label and, you know, kind of getting told like this isn't quite it and that's not quite good enough and, you know, this isn't it. And I think there's a lot of overthinking from me and from them, you know, because you're chasing the success of that thing you've already done, which I think can be quite unhealthy at times. And when I finally got down to writing Burn, I just threw everything out the window, literally set everything on fire. And I was like, I need to just do something that I love. I'm not thinking about anybody other than what I want to produce right now. I had to kind of be a bit selfish and be like, I need to feel like this is going to be a fulfilling thing for me. And so far, just handing song after song after song and getting kind of rejected and pushed back is like, it's not a good experience. So I just kind of ripped apart the playbook and really tried a bunch of stuff that I hadn't done before. And, you know, as I said, the McDonough brothers really helped on the production front with that, like massively, and on the writing front as well.
I think it's been quite an interesting thing we've seen from quite a few artists the past couple of years. Obviously, we're seeing like the impact of what does 2 years off from doing what you usually do actually affect your craft. And I think we're going to keep seeing that for a long period of time. But then you hear from artists like Billy, like Lewis Capaldi, that intense pressure of that sophomore album and matching that success, which were then having the added complication of a global pandemic in the way. Like, it's tough. It's tough.
I mean, at the end of the day, there's harder jobs than being an artist. That's finding myself. I've done them, you know. There's leaflets on the streets of London for a living, and you know, making absolutely no money and hated every minute of it. So just have to remind yourself once in a while that you're blessed to be doing a job that means so much to you. But I think that's why it does get to you, because obviously artists and musicians mostly have spent their whole life working towards being a successful musician who gets to go on tours and gets to go and play for people. So that can get to you if it's not working out the way that you want it, because you care way too much about it. You know,
you're putting so much more of yourself into it than anyone ever would handing out leaflets in the centre of London. If you're putting that much of yourself into handing out leaflets, then I really respect the craft.
Sure.
So we touched a little bit about the album. I'm just being cheeky. Do we have a general idea of when it may come out?
Yeah, I think it's going to be like some time in summer, I would have thought. Yeah, so like let's say between April and October. I don't know the date yet.
That is a huge window.
Quite a big window.
Well, I like the you're keeping it safe. You're keeping it broad.
But on the first album, the date changed 5 times before the actual album came out. They were like, at one point, it was like a really short window. So I rushed around getting everything finished. And then they were like, actually, we think we should release it in 6 months on this date. And I was like, are you kidding me?
So you're like, I'm not chancing it with this one. I'll just chill out and they can tell me when it's coming out.
So we'll see. Like the album's like 85% done. We're hoping to get all the tracks finished by the end of the year. Have a big tour next year in April, and sometime after that the album will come out. So yeah, that's all I can tell you at the minute.
Okay, so you're going to do tour before the album.
Yeah.
I kind of love that because it's a bit more of a surprise for people.
Yeah, and I want people to come down and see these songs live and experience them live for the first time rather than just the record, because I think there is something really special in that. So I'm really excited about that.
Is there a particular song on the album that you just cannot wait to play live?
I can't. Do you know what? Like we've played Burn in a bunch of different ways, but I haven't played Burn with like the full band with like full drums and like everything yet. So I'm super excited to play that because I just think it's like 2 minutes 20 the record, and I can't wait to make the 5-minute live version.
Yeah, with some pyrotechnics.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're going to need pyro. So, yeah, I'm really excited about that. Maybe
like a big, I know Imagine Dragons do this a lot when they're on stage, like, the big standalone drum and they're just like going for it.
Yeah. I've seen it on a few artists, but yeah, there was one tour where I actually did bring a drum kit on and did like a drum solo halfway through.
Oh my gosh, amazing.
Yeah. So maybe we'll pull something out like that again.
Thank you so much for your time. I'm really excited to hear this new stuff. Love Burn. So I'm really looking forward to the next Tom Walker phase. We're going to play your song now on KMFM. Can you introduce it for us?
Absolutely. Hey, this is Tom Walker and this is my brand new single, Burn.